Hey, everybody, welcome back to my podcast. I am your host, Jada Sharice, and you are now tuned in to More to the Story, the podcast and show. We are picking up, this is part 2 of Brokenness to Wholeness. When I say Keshia gave it to us straight, no chaser, that's exactly what I mean. Listen, she did not hold back. And I commend her for telling her story because it's not always easy. Sometimes it's never easy to tell your story. And it's important that we share our stories as women. You know, I know men have stories too, but I created this platform, and not even but, I created this platform as a woman because I know what I've been through. I know that there's other women who may be going through the same thing, or I'm trying to help them avoid going through that. So we're picking up from brokenness to wholeness. This is part 2. Everything was just getting better for Keshia. It's almost 2 years now when it's looking like brighter days. You know, she had been through a lot of stuff, and it was getting good. But as she mentioned in our last episode, all the time she thought it was getting good, it starts to hit the fan again. Keshia, girl, you may now take the floor. So, what happened?
Yeah. So a friend of mine was dating one of his friends, and apparently they were both messing with women who knew each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they were cheating together. So it was like their bro code guy thing.
His wingman, just we in this
His
together.
wingman, yes, his
Wow.
wingman. So the young lady, well, she didn't reach out to me. I ended up doing some digging, going through phones, checking phone bills, all that other FBI, CIA agent type stuff that I used to do.
Yeah.
Whatever I need to do to find out what's going on.
Right.
I found out. I had even followed him a couple of times. He had said he was going out with the guys. My aunt lived downstairs. I asked her to come upstairs and watch the kids. I'll pull off shortly after he pull off. I'm right behind him. I know exactly where he at and what he doing. I'll call his phone a billion times. He'll answer. I was like, "Where you at? What you doing?" "Oh, I'm with so and so. I'm out with the guys from work." Lying, just lying. I know he's lying. I could see him, but whatever. Okay.
This sounds
Um.
like a movie, like some Lifetime
Yes.
Snap type stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would go back home, and then it became a cycle of me going home but not saying anything to him,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I knew he was lying, but pretending like I was okay and like I didn't know anything.
Why was
I
that?
did
Why did
this.
you do that?
I wanted to see how long he would let it go on.
Okay.
Um, I felt like he was a stupid cheater. I'm just gonna be honest. He would always be fooled,
Oh boy.
and I would always say something immediately, and it'll be like he caught, so he'll stop. But this time, I kind of wanted to see, would he stop on his own? Would he think about his family? Would he think about his wife, his 2 kids? Would he consider us in all of his wrongdoing? Or would he ignore all of us? Would he just continue to do what he wanted to do? Did we even matter to him?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to see, like, where was his head at? Why was he doing the things he was doing? And then pretending to be happy when he came home. Like, oh, he was so happy to see us and he missed me and this, that, and the third. So it was very strange, but I did it. And then after a good month, um, I couldn't take it no more. Now it's close to Christmas time, and Christmas Eve we spent the day together. But I noticed he was being more standoffish. Like I was getting on his nerves. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't want me to ride with him to certain places. Like we were supposed to go pick up chicken for the Christmas Eve party we always go to at his aunt's house. But he didn't want me to ride with him, and we usually run errands together, and that bothered me. Like, why can't I? And he literally would start an argument, and I was noticing that more and more throughout the process. So that bothered me. I was just used to us being together and doing things together, and I felt like he was kind of pushing me away, and I kind of knew why, but he wouldn't say why. So all night that night, I just felt annoyed because I wanted him to tell me the truth, and he wouldn't tell me the truth. So later on that day, we go to his aunt's. We're there. kids, we're playing games, we're doing all this stuff, and he is upstairs on the phone, like, the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't come down. He didn't play any of the games with us. We normally open presents for the kids to see. I went upstairs to ask him to come down, and he dropped the phone, but I already saw him on the phone. But he kind of like dropped the phone like he wasn't on it and like he was talking to his cousin. The whole time I already saw you.
Yeah.
So it was like, now this person is more important than you witnessing your children open up their first gift for Christmas.
Wow.
So it was like really annoying to me. So I tried my best to keep my quiet, keep my peace. We had also taken pictures that day. So it was like, we didn't took family photos. We didn't spend time together. We were supposed to be spending time together here at your auntie's house because I could have stayed home. I'm at your people's house, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not even engaging with me. You're not engaging with our children. Your mind is on something totally different, and now I'm ticked off. So we woke up. I didn't want to ruin my kids' Christmas. We woke up the next morning. We opened gifts with the kids. I made Christmas dinner. We went around to other family members' houses so that they can get gifts. And I still didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. The couple days after Christmas, I went to work. I reprinted out the bill. I highlighted every number,
Oh my
especially because I
goodness.
yes, I did. That craziness coming out again.
You
So
mentioned family
I
pictures.
highlighted.
1 second. You mentioned
Um,
family pictures. I remember you telling me in our pre-interview what happened in the mall. This is that situation, right? When you guys went to take
yes,
pictures and
this is that situation. When I was at work, I highlighted every number, and I had called the number, and I had spoken with the young lady, and she laughed when I told her who I was. And I wasn't disrespectful. I'm never disrespectful. Anytime I have ever confronted a woman that was sleeping with my man, it was always, just being myself. Well, trying to be myself in a matter of a respectful way. So I would always call, and just say, "Hey, this is Keshia. I'm so and so's wife,"
mm-hmm.
and they would be more receptive of that than me. You sleeping with my man, da 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 da, because
Right.
that ain't gonna get me nowhere. So
Exactly.
it would be like, I want answers. I want to know what's going on. Don't leave me in the dark, kind of thing. So, she just politely told me. She laughed when I said my name, and she knew who I was, and she just said, look, I have a boyfriend. She said, well, I'm still with my baby's father. We live together. I was just messing with your guy because he was promising me things and he was gonna buy me this and buy me that. He told me he was gonna divorce you and fly me out. She said on Christmas Eve I met up with him to get money. And I said, "You met up with him where to get money?" Because I knew I was with him all day on Christmas Eve. And she was like, "We met up at the mall." She said, "I believe you were there. Y'all was taking family pictures or something." And
Oh my God.
my heart dropped,
This
like
is
literally
so
dropped.
embarrassing. Like the lowest
Embarrassing.
of low.
So embarrassing. My heart dropped. And I remembered when she said that. I remember when we were in the mall and we were taking family pictures, he said, "I'm going to go around the corner to Finish Line or Foot Locker or something." He was like, "I'll be right back." And I was like, my son, at the time, he wanted to go with him. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, "No, he can stay here." And I'm like, "Well, why can't he go with you? What's the big deal? You act like you finna go do something or whatever." He was like, "Okay, fine, he could come with me." So, he took him with him. And she was like, "Yeah, I met your son."
No, no,
Um,
no, no.
yeah. She was like, and she's like, "I met your son." She's like, "I've never seen your daughter physically, but I've talked to her several times on the phone when we pick her
Bye.
up from daycare."
Bye.
And I'm just like, "What? Who?
This
Huh?"
is
I
crazy.
remember I couldn't even function at work after that.
Of
It was
course.
midway through the day, and I had did all of this on my lunch break. I was at work like heartbroken, like crying, going in the storage closet to try to pull myself together, trying to be that happy-go-lucky person for my patients. My patients knew something was going on with me, but no, I'm good. I'm just having a little bit of an off day, but I'm okay. How are you? just trying to be the professional that I know I can be, but literally I felt like my heart was literally just shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling so much pain. I didn't even stay the whole day. I ended up leaving early. My boss told me to go ahead and leave. She's like, I don't know what's going on, but you're just not yourself. You keep crying off and on. You just need to take the rest of the day. And I was like, thank you. I need it. I'm sorry. And she was like, well, luckily we close tomorrow. And I was like thankful that we would close the next day because I'm distraught at this point.
This is
I took my little
heartbreaking.
printed out. Yeah, I took my little printed out bills and I went home. But in the midst of me printing it out, highlighting, I began to notice another number that he talked to quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And I called that number and I found out that this other young lady actually went to high school with us.
Mm-hmm.
She knew we were married. She knew we had children. And that hurt me even more because never had I ever had a mean encounter with her. I ran track with her. We were pretty cordial together. I wouldn't say we were the best of friends, but
Yeah, you would think
never
it's
had
some
any.
respect there. You know, you.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Never have we ever had any exchange of words to meaning that we would be enemies or anything. When I talked to her, she basically said that it's not what it looks like. It's nothing going on. Um, but she screwed herself over when I had his phone because I broke my phone throwing it at him.
Uh
Um,
oh.
um, she called him or she messaged him and she said, LOL, did she buy the story? Like, are we good? I'm not
I
trying to really get in
cannot.
between that. Yeah. So then I'm not gonna lie, I called her, I snapped, and I told her on site, baby, when I see you, it's over with for you. Because now it's just a respect level. I'm not fighting you over a man. I'm fighting you because now you think I'm stupid and you can play with my intelligence, and that's what's gonna piss me off.
Right.
And
Asking, did you buy the
like
story? You know, like,
yeah, it was just real, and she thought it was funny, and that was just real disrespectful to me. I grew angry because it's like, not is there only one woman? There are two. You completely embarrassed me, and now I see why men that you went to high school with that know this girl and know that she slept with quite a few people. Supposedly, I don't know. Um, guys were coming to me that you were their friend,
mm-hmm.
but it's like some of them were coming to me like, Keisha, you know, um, how's everything going on at home? And I'm looking like, why would y'all ask me that? I'm like, it's fine, we good. And they like, man, you just need to be careful. You need to take care of yourself. Sometimes people be out here trying to be something they not. And I'll be
Wow.
looking at them like, what are you talking about? They need to stop hanging with so and so because, you know, they out here trying to portray themselves as something they not, and he is. And we be trying to tell him like, this man needs to go home. Like any guy would be lucky to have you, and he's tripping.
His
So
own friends,
at that,
looking out for you, trying to give you the heads
and
up,
these were just some of his associates. Yeah, these were some of his associates. So these are guys that I thought he didn't see. Well, he didn't really see them all the time. They were very close in high school. They were close in high school, and then growing up, they kind of grew apart.
Yeah.
They weren't on the same level or statue of his two best friends. So I sometimes I felt like maybe they were just trying to hit on me, and then I felt like, well, maybe because they know me, they feel like they just tired of witnessing it, and they felt. And one of them told me, "I'm only saying something to you because she a bird." Like that's just mad disrespectful. Y'all got kids. He married out here. Ain't none of us married. Like we all out here kicking it. But I feel like he need to go home. Like there's no way that he should be talking to this girl. And she broadcasting y'all business just so you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of upset me because it's like this is so embarrassing. So
Yeah.
at that point, I just that was me kind of shutting down again mentally, just feeling like I cannot win for losing with this man.
Yeah.
Just every time I thought that it would be going great, it would take a left turn somewhere down the road. And I was just embarrassed. And it was even more hurtful because he had just signed up for the military. So in my mind, I'm thinking He can go out to the military. We're about to live a better life. We're going to get out of the state like we want to. We're going to be together and our kids. And now I'm left to feel just dumbfounded and broken because I told him the one reason why I never really wanted him to join the military is because I said, if you cheat on me here at home, what would you do across the world when I have nobody?
Exactly. Exactly. I
Like
have
here,
a few questions for you.
actually,
Because, you giving us all the tea, and I appreciate how open you are and transparent you are. But just to throw some questions in there to really get into your thoughts and your emotions. I know before you mentioned that you were so blind because you were trying to make things right. You ignored everything just because you wanted to be happy. Can you talk
yeah,
about, just what that was like, in the midst of everything you said before, you started praying, you started working on yourself, and you prayed for him and, prayed that he would be better. But you also
yeah,
ignored certain things or a lot of things because you just wanted to be happy. What was that like for you?
yeah. So before anybody came to me with information about him doing anything, I really, I was just so hopeful that we would be or stay in a good space. So a lot of that became me looking for books, um, The Praying Wife, How to Be a Better Woman, just how to be a spiritual woman,
Mm-hmm.
and just really trying to build myself up to the statue that I wanted him to be. I felt like I couldn't ask of him what I wasn't.
Right.
So it was just me trying to be just an open-minded wife, an understanding wife, a caring wife, learning how to compromise different situations. Um, I know before he told me that he felt like I nagged him a lot, like I put a lot of pressure on him. So it was more of me trying to be relaxed, trying not to really push the issue, so to speak, on a lot of different things, trying to let him find his way of being his own man. And then just trying to say prayer. So I would pray for him a lot. I kind of tried to take that advice from the prophet from the couple years prior
Yeah.
of really praying for him and not just praying for myself. So I tried all of that. And then I was really honestly starting to feel better. I started to feel stronger as a woman and feeling like I was in control of my situation. At the same time, um, woman's intuition, they call it, quote unquote, um, I would notice little things. I would notice him being standoffish with me sometimes. We would go to bed at the same time. He no longer wanted to go to bed at the same time. He would sit up and be on the phone later than usual. He would say he was talking to the guys. Um, Him wanting to go out more. I'm trying to give him his own space and let him, kind of kick it. But deep down inside, I knew he wasn't always with the guys. Just, it was just like all kind of little things that we as people tend to ignore
Yeah.
because we want the best. And that was my situation. I wanted the best. I wanted the happy ending. I didn't want to feel the sadness. So if it would cost me to just look the other way and not ask, not pry, not try to find out the truth, then fine. That's what I was doing. I noticed his temper sometimes. He would be short with me and frustrated, and it would be simple things. Babe, let's play up and watch a movie tonight. I don't feel like watching a movie. I don't want to do that. And it'll be like, okay, but that's our thing. Like, that's what we do sometimes. We both had a long work week. I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to go out for a drink. And it'll be like,
Okay.
okay, but we haven't spent any time together. We haven't been out on a date. I don't really feel like doing that right now. I'll let you know. It was like a lot of different stuff. His priorities, I noticed, were different.
Right.
But instead of me starting an argument to figure it out, it would just be like, okay, I'll just type
Mhm.
of thing. And I just tried to be a little bit more mild and meek about it. But I saw it. I knew. I just didn't know the facts for sure.
Right.
I didn't want to know the facts for sure, so to speak. I didn't want to know. I wanted to just be happy and hopefully he'll come around. That's how I kept looking at it. Like,
Mhm.
there's no way that we would keep going through all this stuff and he would do anything that crazy again. That was
Yeah.
just in my head. Like, there's no way. Like, maybe he's just going through something that I don't understand because I'm not a man. It was the making up of excuses. Maybe he's just dealing with stuff that I don't know about, or it was just so many different things that I just was like, it just can't be, it can't be infidelity again. It just possible. It couldn't be.
Yeah.
It couldn't be. I feel like he's learned his lesson. It can't be. So it was just me being, I turned the other cheek. I put my love blinders on and continued about my days.
Did you ever blame yourself for anything?
I did. I blamed myself a lot. I felt like at one point I blamed myself so bad that I was like, Keisha, you're weak. You're weak and you're weak minded, and all of this is your fault because if you would have walked away years ago, you wouldn't be dealing with it.
Mhm.
Um, just or and also in the sense of Keisha, you nag too much. You question too many things. You need to be quiet. You have a mouth of your own. Like, your attitude is jacked up. Like,
Right.
it was just so many different things that I just would analyze about myself. Um, Not really knowing at the time that I'm repeating stuff to myself that somebody else has said to me in a negative
Mhm.
manner, only to put the blame back on me.
Exactly.
Because they didn't want to take accountability for their actions, so the way of them doing that was reverse psychology. So now, yeah, I cheated, but it's your fault because you did this, or I don't know why I cheated, but I've been feeling like you you nag me too much, or you don't want to have sex with me, or you don't want to touch me, or you don't make me feel handsome, type of ordeal. And at the time, it was just like, well, maybe I do those things, or why did I do that, or Keisha, why are you like that? You messed up, girl. Like, you weak. You need to get it together. Not realizing that there was nothing wrong with me for demanding the way that I wanted to be loved.
Mhm.
It was my love language, and I needed to stand up for what I believed in. But at the time, I didn't know. I just began to blame everything on me. I felt like everything was my fault. The life I was living, um, the experiences my children were witnessing of us constantly arguing. It was all my fault. Everything was my fault,
Yeah.
and I had grew to sit in that.
Mhm. With there were so many incidents or occasions where you actually reached out to these women, the numbers that you found. Did you ever feel like, okay, this is all on my husband? I'm not even mad at her. I'm mad at him. That's my husband. Loyalty should be to me. I can't be mad at the other woman. But I also know there were occasions where, when the woman did know about you and she laughed, and, I understand those moments. But if it wasn't a moment where she laughed at you and she knew about you, who did you blame? Because sometimes we take it out on the woman when it's like, no, that's your husband, that's your man, you should be mad at him. He owe you that,
Yeah.
responsibility to be loyal to you and be faithful to you. What are your thoughts about that?
Um, at first, no, I felt like they were all equally responsible.
Mm-hmm.
More,
Both
well, I
sides.
won't say equally. Yeah, I won't say equally responsible. I would say he was more responsible for the actions of how he treated me and our children. And sometimes it depends. Like you said, it depends on whether or not the woman knew about me. I want to say there was one instance where the woman did not, well, she knew about me, but he told her that we were getting a divorce. It was always an excuse I noticed that he was giving these women. Oh, we live together, but we're not together. We're getting a divorce. I'm trying to find my own place. But coming home to me and like, I'm so happy we together. We getting ready to do this. Like, our marriage was good. So it was like sometimes I felt like women knew. Women knew. And then it would make me angry because it's like I did ask a couple girls. I said, so if you knew that he was married, what gave you the right to want to talk to him? And she'd be like, well, that's not my problem. You need to be talking to him. And then it would be like, no, it is your problem. As self-respect, where do you fall in at?
Right.
Because why would you feel the need to feel like it's okay to talk to somebody else's husband? She's like, well, girl, he said he was leaving you, and that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's between y'all. I said, but my thing is, where was your self-respect? Like, where did it cross your mind that I would never want any woman to get engaged with my husband and
That
say, I hold responsibility too, because had I shut him down, I wouldn't even be a part of this equation.
girl, that right
And
there, preach. That's
and she
it.
was just like, maybe you're right, but at the end of the day, it's him. It's him. I said, but you went along with it, so it's you too. And she was like, I mean, if that's what you want to say, but whatever. And I know that a lot of people, especially when Monica came out and said, never approach another woman. It's all your man. It's 100% him. But I feel like at the end of the day, as women, we also need to take responsibility. Sometimes we know. We just know when men are lying to us.
Yeah.
And we need to just stop being blind. If he says, um, I'm married, but stop him at the butt. I don't even want to talk to you no more because you have
Right.
lost your man. It
Exactly.
was just kind of like that. So at the time, no, I felt like he is 100% responsible for how he just treated me and the disloyalty he has displayed upon me. But honey, you knew he was married, so what accountability will you take for your part in it?
Mhm.
Because had you not taken any parts in this, I wouldn't even be talking to you right now.
Right.
You would be doing your own thing, dealing with a single man. I wouldn't
Absolutely.
even be approaching you.
Mhm.
So I don't know. That one is still like a gray area to me, even to this day. Like I, I wouldn't. I don't think I would ever be in a relationship with a married man. But I felt at the time that I needed to approach both parties.
Right.
Um, yeah,
So,
but now again today, I wouldn't approach no woman. I just whatever.
right.
That's
It's,
y'all.
I didn't, that's it. That says a lot. How you feel about me, what you think about me. I done been through this too many times to go down this road again.
Mm-hmm.
100%. So jumping
Absolutely.
back into the story, the military. He goes off to the military, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even after all of this stuff that has happened, you decided to move out to Washington to be closer to him when he came home from the military, right?
Yeah, he went off to basic training, and before he left for basic training, we had never really resolved the issue of him dealing with two different women, or really finding out the real reason of why. Um, so that I felt like if we knew the root of the reason why you keep doing what you're doing, then maybe we can move forward. But that was never discovered. So he went off to basic training. He's gone to basic training. I'm angry. I'm still feeling lonely and abandoned in a sense. And while he was gone, I felt like I didn't want to even be with him anymore. I felt like you just joined the military for yourself because you cannot possibly say this is for us, but you didn't even make sure that I felt secure in the situation because of what you just did to me.
Yeah.
And I felt like before his basic training, like before he swore in, he could have asked to extend to change his leave date for basic training,
Mhm.
just so that we can kind of resolve a few issues. But he didn't, and it just kind of all made me feel like where his priorities were. It wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. And although all while he was gone during basic training, they don't have any phones. We can't talk to him. I can't see him. And he was writing me, telling me that this was a wake up call for him, and so on and so forth. However, I didn't believe him because it was everything I've always heard over all these years. So what makes this any different than the last 10 times that you've done it before.
Right.
Like, why was this different? So I didn't believe him. I didn't feel secure with him. Um, I just, I was lost. I
Mm-hmm.
was lost. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't trust the fact that he would be there for me like he said he would. So I kind of just started to hang out more, doing things that I probably normally wouldn't do when he was home, which was hang out with my friends, go drinking. And at one point, I ran into an ex. Um, we laughed, we talked while we were out, and it was like, oh, sparks, but for him, probably not for me.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it was like I've only been with my husband. I've only been with him in high school. Now that we're adults, this is the only person I've ever slept with. Um, I'm tired of this. I keep getting cheated on. He's gotten a chance to be outside and experience and sleep with other women, but I haven't, and I'm tired of being the faithful one. I'm tired of being this one that upholds this relationship. Like, you don't care about it, I don't care about it anymore. So I kept in contact with this ex for a little while. We ended up meeting up. My intentions were strictly to just sleep with him, and I did. But
Wow.
afterwards,
Just period. That was
yeah,
it. Your intentions.
that was it.
And
Yeah,
this
I
shows the
did it.
brokenness, you know,
Yeah,
just
and I
feeling
was numb.
yourself.
Yeah, I was numb when I did it. I did it, and it was like, okay. And then he would be like, "You want to go out for drinks? You want to go on a date?" And I'm like, "No, like, no, I don't." And he's like, "Oh, I thought we were kind of reaching for something." And I'm like, "No." And he'll be like, "Well, what are we doing then?" And I'll be like, "Look, I'm married. I don't know." And he's like, "But I thought it wasn't working out. I thought you were leaving him." And I tell him, I never said I was leaving him. I said that things weren't working out the way I wanted them to. That's what I said. I never said that I was leaving my husband. That was not a part of the deal. That was not part of what I said. And when I kind of heard myself talking, I was like, "Girl, you is crazy. What are you doing?"
Right.
And talk about brokenness. I cried so hard, and I said, "Is it worth being with someone who can change you as a
Mhm.
person?
Mhm.
This is something you don't even believe in. You don't believe in cheating. You don't believe in infidelity. All the times that he cheated on you and made you feel like crap, what gives you the right to be the person of the opposite, to do what he's done to you?" But I wanted him to hurt. I wanted him to know who it was that I slept with, because I knew he didn't like him. I
Mhm.
knew that he hated him. I knew that he felt like if him and I weren't together, that probably would have been the person I was with. So
Mm.
it was like so many reasons why I chose this person in particular to do what I did. But I ended up not even revealing it right away. I ended up keeping it a secret and not telling him about it.
Yeah.
And when I finally told him about it, he said that he had talked to somebody in the military that told him, if you think that you could cheat on your wife or cheat on your girlfriend for so many years and think it'll never come back on you, you crazy. Men
Exactly.
tend to men tend to cheat, 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 but when it's done to them, they can't handle it. He said, "I'm telling you now, if you want your wife, you have to be willing to accept that she might have or has slept with somebody else outside of you.
Mhm.
But that's nobody's fault but yours, because you pushed her to that limit."
Right.
And it was crazy when he told me this conversation he had. And it was like God's way of saying it's time to come clean on my end. Because he's telling me about this conversation he had with an older gentleman in the military. And I'm listening to this conversation. And I just told him, like, I need to come clean. And he said, "What is it?" And he said, I already know, probably, but I want you to tell me. And I told him. And he was hurt. And he was upset. And at the time, I still was kind of numb. Like, I had went through my sadness, and I had already forgiven myself, so I was kind of over it. So when I told him um, we were kind of into it because he had been talking to somebody, um, and I knew he was talking to somebody, but he kept telling me it wasn't what it was. Now, again, he's away from me. I don't really know what's going on, but I knew it was something because I know my husband. And again, I still have access to phone records. So it's like, I know, but you're not telling me. And now you're trying to push information out of me. So I told him, and I kind of hurt away. And when I told him, and it was like, yeah, and I did it. And he was like, dang, you're not even sorry about it? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he was just like, I can't talk to you right now. I'm done. So after we hung up, I had told my best friend about it. And she was like, Keshia. And I told her everything because I never even told them what I did. It was like my dirty secret. And she was like, you of all people? I'm like, me of all people, yes, I did it. And she was like, you need to call him back and you need to apologize about how you delivered that message that wasn't fair. And I'm like, but why? Because he did all this stuff and he's doing something right now.
Which isn't fair.
Uh-huh.
I said, which isn't fair. Everything that he's been doing has not been fair.
Right. So I'm like, no, because, he hasn't been fair to me, and I'm upset. And she was like, let me tell you why it's not fair. It's not fair because this isn't the person that God created out of you. You're not being upheld to your highest standard. So my responsibility as your friend is to hold you accountable for your actions.
Okay,
How
friend.
you delivered that message was not fair. You should have delivered it in a more respectful manner, knowing that it would hurt him. Yes, you did it, it's done, it's over with. However, he hasn't had time to process that you did it, it's done, and it's over with. No matter what you expect out of him, you have to be the prime example. And I'm just like, why do I always have to be the big good person?
Yeah.
And she's like, because that's who God created you to be, sweetheart. Unfortunately, you can't get around who he created you to be. So now you put your big girl drawers on, and you call that man back, and you tell him, I apologize for how I delivered that information to you. I'm sorry that it has hurt you, and I hurt you in that manner. Originally, when I did what I did, I meant to hurt you. However, I have discovered in dealing with myself that it was wrong. I apologize for my actions. I can never do what others have done to me because it doesn't feel right. She said, tell him the truth. Tell him how you felt inside.
Your friend better come on. She
always
checks
pulls
you.
right together, okay?
Wow, that's powerful.
In that moment, I felt that. And later on that night, I did call him and I apologized and we did talk about it. And, but my fear with her is what I told her. I said, I fear that I'll do all of this apologizing and ask for forgiveness and tell him the space that I was in, but I won't get the truth out of him. And she said, it's not your responsibility to make him be truthful. Your responsibility is to stand up in your own truth, nobody else's.
Yeah.
You have to be your own advocate. You can't be his advocate. You can't force him to be honest. You can't force him to tell the truth. You can't force him to be this man that you want him to be because, honey, it's just not him. And the sooner that you accept that, the sooner that you'll be able to understand and accept which route you really want to take with this whole thing. So I'm thankful for the people that I do have around me because, every time I went on this journey of really deciding who I am as a woman, I had them to support me. And even when I decided to stay, when I shouldn't have stayed, I still had them to support me. To say, I don't 100% agree with your decision, but I am here for you.
Right.
So when things when things are going great, I'm here for you. When things are going bad, I'm here for you. I think without them, a lot of my sanity would have been really, really gone because they could always pull me back when I wanted to share. Because that was another issue of mine is I don't like to share for the sake of embarrassment. I would hold it in until I explode.
Thank God for the friends, who were there for you. And it's not always pretty. And of course, we can be quick to talk about those bad moments, or he just pissed me off, or I'm venting, and when we're really hurting. But then it comes back, as a slap in the face sometimes when we want to talk about the good days we're having in our relationship, because
Right.
they're still, pissed about what he did to you last week. So it's important, I
Mm-hmm.
understand how you felt about sharing and not sharing, but I'm just thankful that you did have those friends, especially the one who got you together. Like, look, God didn't create you to be that person. Regardless of what he's done to you, don't allow yourself to become the person who has hurt you, because hurt
Exactly.
people. It will continue to be a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Absolutely.
we're going to get into your exit here. So just really briefly, just tell me, you found out that he did have a relationship going on, right? While he was in the military. Is that it? Or pretty much just
Yes, I
tell
did
us,
find out.
okay, what your deciding factor was, and then just touch on, you moving to Florida and just going to visit him and what he was telling you.
Yeah, so I did find out that, everything that I had suspected that he was doing or who he was with was actually true. The young lady, I had tried reaching out to her a couple of times, but she would never respond. So then I just took it for a grain of salt. I knew a couple of people and I had built relationships with a couple of people who were in the military with him. And they would get back to me and say, Keisha, it's not looking good. And he didn't like that because I would never tell him who was telling me what, but I would just inform him that I know.
Mm-hmm.
So he was actually getting out of the military and he was deciding to come back home. And when he decided to come back home, I'm asking him, like, now we've had our third child. And I'm asking him, like, with our son being born, our youngest, like, what are we doing here? Because it seems like this was a whole relationship with for you. And he's like, no, no, it wasn't. But with him being back home, I was able to do the thing that I was good at the most, which was investigating. And after seeing emails and messages and love letters, it was just like he was telling her, like, yeah, I'm only going back home to tie up a few ends at home and to do this divorce, and then me and you are gonna, we can move to whatever state. And she was being transferred to Tennessee, so they were looking at houses in Tennessee and all kind of stuff. Mind you, my son is just, he's not even a year old yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have had this relationship for so long. That means you had this relationship while I was pregnant with our youngest child,
Right.
and you were away. And I was hurt. I felt like I went through a lot with my last pregnancy, and I actually almost died on the table giving birth to him.
Oh my
I had an emergency
goodness.
C-section
Mm-hmm.
because his heart rate would drop tremendously with every contraction, and he was coming very early. So, here I am bleeding out on the table, almost dying,
Wow.
giving life to your seed, and immediately after you leave us to go back to her, and you live this fantasy with her. And she's telling you stuff like she wished we didn't exist. She wished her children didn't exist because she wanted to be the only one. She wanted you to be the one
Wow.
she had her first trial with. She wanted to share all these first things with you that you have already experienced. And, to me, it was like, how could you even be with a woman that wanted your children not even to be here? So
Exactly.
after finding all of that out and realizing that he lied, of course, it was anger again. At one point, he was saying, he didn't know if he really wanted us to work it out. And I'm just angry, like, no, we're gonna work it out. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I know we are. And he's like, I'm not sure. And then it became, okay, you want to keep telling me you're not sure, then forget it. We're not gonna work it out. And we would never be on the same page at the same time. So it's like when I grew that attitude of like, okay, this is what you want, I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm not gonna, we ain't together then. I'm gonna do what I want to do out here in these streets, and I don't care what you say about it. And then it will become, well, Keisha, why you not coming home? I wish we could just be together. and we gonna work things out. And then it'll be okay, babe, we're gonna work things out. And then, that summer I found out he was talking to some other girl. He had just got back home, so it was like, it's March, you just got here. It's June, you talking to somebody else here in Chicago. Like, ooh, what is the deal with you?
Right.
And he apologized. He was blue in the face. And this particular young lady, she said that she did not know he was married. He told her he was already divorced. So, and she was very respectful. She was disrespectful at first, but when she found out that I wasn't really coming at her no type of way, because I didn't try to reach out to her at all, she reached out to me. We talked, and she apologized to me, and she was crying like I would never. And I accepted her apology because she was younger, much younger than me, by at least 5 years. So she's 5 years younger than him. So it's like I felt like he played on her vulnerability.
Right.
And I felt for her, and I accepted her apology, and girl, me and her prayed together and everything, and I left it at that. I told him at that time that I didn't feel like it was a good idea for us to move to Florida together. He again reassured me that this would be the fresh start. He knows that all the mistakes he's made in the past have truly affected our family, affected me, but we're married, and he wanted to really give it our all. And I told him, in order for me to do that, I really have to know, like, are you serious? Because I don't want to move across the world again like I did when I moved to Washington, only to come back. And he was like, no, I'm serious. So we decided that we would go together. We would go together as a family, and that this would be our absolute last chance and hope of seeing if things would really work out in our best interest. So we packed it up and we moved. I left my job, um, and we moved to Florida. And we moved to Florida, and maybe a couple weeks after I had spent all my money and earnings and savings, did I find out that
I can't take no more. I can't.
he wasn't talking to anybody else, but he was just unsure of us.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. So all while I'm, praying and asking him, okay, did you find? Because he promised me counseling again. But it's like every time we got to the destination we were supposed to be at, it was like, oh, I don't want to talk to an outsider. And it was like, at this point, you said you would try whatever it was to take to rebuild our marriage, to fix our marriage, but I don't see the effort from you. So what are we doing here? And he would never, it was like, I'm not doing counseling. And it went from, yes, I'm going to do counseling to I'm not doing it. And then it came to me trying to find other avenues because I didn't want to pressure him, but if we were gonna make this work, I'd have moved all the way out here. Then doggone it, we gonna make it work. And after so much of me trying to make it work, trying to be open minded, trying to forgive, wholeheartedly, like forgiving his relationship and everything, it was like I'm asking for forgiveness because at some point in our relationship in our marriage, I had made some financial mistakes. So it's like I'm not 100% perfect, and I've cheated now. So it's like I know I ain't 100% perfect, but I'm asking you to forgive me, and I forgive you, so that we can move forward.
Yeah.
And even though I was being open and wanting to forgive, he wasn't. And a lot of his saying was, "I felt like you abandoned me when you left me in Washington to move back home." And I told him, I understand how you feel, and I didn't understand at the time how much that hurt you, but that didn't give you the right to build a relationship with somebody else.
Exactly.
I offered to come back to you when I realized how much I had affected you. I said, when you got off deployment, I'll come back. You told me no. So I figured it's because you were enjoying your single life and what you were doing. And he said that wasn't the case. And I said, what about all the years, you've abandoned me? And it's like, I didn't abandon you. I didn't leave you by yourself. You kind of technically did. Maybe not in a physical space, but mentally and emotionally, you left me.
You
You left
damaged
me to
me.
think for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
And with our children at that.
Exactly. So it's like we couldn't see eye to eye on those type of things. So it was like 1 week he wanted to be with me and we could work it out, and then 2 weeks later it was like, nah, I don't think I could do this. Then it was he wanted to be with me, he wanted to make it work, and then it was, nah, I don't think I can do this. And then one night he went to the gym. He was being standoffish all day long. He was lying about little stuff. He had a female friend, out in Florida that he knew from the military, and they would meet up and go to the gym. And this was strictly like one of his friends, but I think he had painted me out to be this person to his military people for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really get a chance to really get to know a lot of them because a picture was already painted of me.
Yeah.
The abandoned, the abandoner. I abandoned my husband. I took his kids away from him. I'm mean, I'm this, I'm that, or I stole from whatever story he had given because he's good for giving stories. It was like, okay, now I'm already painted out to be the bad guy. So he went to the gym with her. They exercised. He was gone for several hours. He came back home. I'm frustrated because he lied about it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I asked him, I said, I'm so tired of having these conversations. Like, I moved all the way across the world again to prove myself to you, to prove that I wanted to make it work. I'm trying really hard not to slip back into my old ways. I'm trying really hard to forgive. I'm trying really hard to just build this marriage up on God's foundation. And you're not meeting me halfway. Like, you're not even giving this 100%. Like, what is it that you want?
Mm-hmm.
And he beat around the bush saying a bunch of different things, repeating himself. I feel like you abandoned me. I don't know if I'll be able to forgive you. I don't think you'll be able to forgive me like you say you will. And I told him he couldn't speak for me. And then as he was rambling on, I kind of just cut him off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of this. Like, what is it that you want? Because I mentally have already kind of left this situation, but I've been trying to physically be here and be in this space with you and to be married to you. So what is it that you want? And he said, man, I think I said, you just what? Now I'm at the point, say it. Please say it. And he
Right.
was like, I want a divorce. And I said, well, you got it. And I got up, I threw some clothes on, my kids were sleeping. I grabbed my keys, I hopped in the car, I drove around Florida where I don't know practically nobody. I don't have anything. And I cried as I was driving and I'm driving. I broke down. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I pulled over at a park. And I remember getting out of the car. I was so sick. I started throwing up. And I
Wow.
started praying. And I'm like, God, why me? Why me? And
Mm-hmm.
it was like such a painful kind of outer body experience
Mm.
because it's like I could see myself in this distraught state, but not really knowing where to go from that point.
Right.
And as me crying and feeling this certain type of way, and I'm sick, I'm like weak. I felt a breath of calmness. The wind blew, and I felt like a breath of calmness, and I kind of felt like that was God
Come on,
touching me and
God.
wiping my tears away to say,
Yes.
I have you. I have you. I never left you, and I have you. I got up, I got back in the car. I couldn't go back home yet. I didn't want to see him. I knew he had to get up early in the morning to go take a test or something. So I tried to stay out as long as I possibly could. When I tell you I left that house at 11 something at night, I didn't get back till 5 something, almost 6 o'clock in the morning. That's how
Not
outside in the street.
right, not even knowing where
Yes, I
you
did.
know, not having
Not even
people
really
around.
knowing. Yeah. I did go and see one friend. It was his cousin's wife. Um, and I did. Me and her we were close, and I went to see her, and I called her. I'm like, I'm so sorry for waking you up, and she's like, No, we already know you missing, girl. He already called to see if you was here, and I'm like, I need to talk. I need a hug. I need something. And she was like, I'll be right there. She came downstairs. She ran downstairs with her pajamas, with her gym shoes on.
Oh,
And she came and she hugged me and she said, whatever decision you make, I support whatever decision. Your happiness means everything. I
right.
don't care if I'm more related to him because that's my husband's cousin. At this point, it's like I don't like to see you like this. And maybe you all are better off as just being friends because it seems like your relationship is great. But it's like the intimacy part of it. You guys can't get past so much that has happened over the years that you guys are just not compatible. And I'm crying to her and I was like, I'm gonna go home. I want to go home. And she said, Keisha, if you need to go home, then you got to do what's best for you and your kids. But your kids can't see you like this.
Wow, wow, wow. Oh my goodness. I don't know about y'all, but I was so shocked to hear that him, out of all people, was the one to ask for the divorce. After everything you put me through, you get to decide? But hey, at least somebody decided, right? Sometimes that's all it takes is that one person to make a decision for both parties. To just say, hey, I can't do this anymore. This is done. This is over with. I've had enough. I'm tired. I don't have anything left. This cycle that we've been in, this toxic relationship, is done with. I'm putting an end to it. This episode was just, it was so powerful. I mean, even in the midst of her brokenness, even in the midst of her crying nights and everything that she went through, it just made me reflect on how much stuff women go through. Stuff that we don't have to go through. Things that we don't deserve. Making excuses for the other person. Blaming ourselves. We get so lost in it that we decide or we feel like maybe I'm the reason he's doing this. Maybe I'm the reason he's cheating. Maybe I nag too much. Maybe I do need to calm down. Maybe I question him too much. No, no, I'm not saying do those things. No, but I'm also saying don't make excuses for the other person. Wrong is wrong. We stay way longer than we should. We stay way longer than we have to. We deal with things that we don't have to. But it's up to us to realize that. As women, we set the manual on how to love us, how we want to be treated, what respect looks like. It starts within. It's up to you to show that person or the world how you will be treated, how you will be respected, what you will allow and what you won't allow. My mama always taught us, always, people will do what you allow them to do. So that one time you let them get away with it, okay, I see what I can do. Ladies, it's so important for us to love ourselves, to know what love looks like. And I know it's hard because it's like, what if I've never seen that before? You have to know what self-love is. You have to know what respect is. You have to love yourself enough and respect yourself enough for someone else to love you and respect you. If you don't know how to be loved, you will fill yourself with anything. You will accept anything. You'll be empty, allowing people to just pour all these things into you. Learn to love yourself first, to respect yourself, and I promise you everything will align. I know Keshia was married, but if you got this boyfriend or somebody, this situationship, girl, you need to block his number. Stop checking on his mama. That's my favorite line. I created that. That's from one of my poems. But girl, listen, we do not have to deal with the stuff that we deal with. We do not. Keshia was, listen, she was good. And she was married. And she had children. I can't speak on that because I don't have biological children. But I know it's hard. When you have that tie with the person and you have a child with them. And it's like, I just want to be done with that person completely. But here we are with a child. We have to communicate. Things like that. But anyway, ladies, such a powerful episode. I pray that you were blessed and you were encouraged. I know how bad it seemed just listening to the things that she went through. But when I tell you, God will show up and show out, just call on him. Just pray to him. So now that, that episode is over, part 2, I'm wondering, what are y'all thinking? Is this really it? Is this the end? Because in my past, I had left so many times, but yet I was still there. And that's another story. That's actually the first poem in my book, Brokenness That Made Me Whole, What Sex Did. Saying I was over him, but yet I was still under him. That's another story, though. And there's always more to the story. But anyway, we will follow up with episode 5, part 3. This is so good. It's 3 parts, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Keshia, thank you so much for sharing your story. Just a powerful, powerful testimony. I can't wait until y'all hear the end. Y'all know the glow up be so real, so real. Everything that we've been through, it's like man, I went through all of that, but to where I am now, the man that I have now, oh man, like everything that I prayed for. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just supporting. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the reviews that you leave on Apple Podcasts. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate y'all so much. This is not easy to do, but I thank God for giving me the list of people that he wanted me to interview, that he wanted to be glorified in their story, to share with you all. So I'm just so grateful to being obedient. There's no but in obedience. You just act accordingly when God tells you to do something. So it's just so overwhelming to get the messages that I always get on Tuesdays. Like, I be looking at my phone like, shut up. Like, did you really love it that much? Everybody is saying like this is the podcast that they're binge listening to. You know how you binge watch a show? They telling me they binge listening to More to the Story, the podcast. It's crazy how I was so nervous to start this, and I didn't know if people would listen, and it's not easy telling your story, but now I'm at peace. I tell my story with confidence, and I tell my story emotionally unfiltered. Don't forget to check out my website at jadasharice.com. Subscribe to my blog, More to the Story, where it is inspirational, poetic, and emotionally unfiltered. Brokenness That Made Me Whole, of course, is available on Amazon, Apple Books. I mean, you listen, it's out there. And I can also sign you a copy and ship it to you. So just let me know. You can also connect with me at jadasharice@gmail.com. That's my email. And all of my social media handles is pretty much jadasharice on Instagram. I'm j.more to the story. So I will catch you all on part 3 of Brokenness to Wholeness. I'm so excited for y'all to hear the third part. Thank you so much to House Hill Media. I'm just so grateful for everybody for listening, for the support, for the reviews, for the comments, for the messages. I love y'all so much. Until next time, because there's always, always more to the story.
Wanting to connect with me mentally. It was the questions he asked in return, the time he put in studying me, willing to learn. It was him repeating what I said to get a better understanding and to clarify. It was the effort he put in to get my attention.